My name is Paul Bookman. I practice in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and I've had a relationship with Benco. I started in 1990 when I built my first office. 2007, I was actually up in the Pocono Mountains on a little weekend vacation. I got a call from the local police that tracked me down by my cell phone that there was a fire in the building. They did not say it was in my suite, they just said it was a fire in the building and they needed me to come down and look at it. So I drove down thinking that, well, I only occupied 3,000 square feet of a 22,000 square foot building, and they didn't say it was my suite, it was just a fire in the building, so I assumed I had some water damage or smoke damage from something. So I took the hour-and-a-half drive down. As I got closer to the center of town where my practice was, I noticed that the main street was blocked off where the practice was with barricades. And I parked the car, walked closer, and realized that the 3 windows that I had, which had visibility on that main avenue, that they were blown out and there was smoke pouring out of them. And I realized at that point that the fire was basically my suite, not somewhere else in the building. I think uh-oh is a mild understatement, but thinking, okay, whatever it is, we can get through this. It's going to be an inconvenience and a hassle, but it was Saturday night, no one was hurt, and that's the most important thing. And okay, well, we'll just roll with it and make the best of the situation and go from there. Well, it was a total loss. I mean, literally when the fire marshal took me into the building, I mean, at that point the fire was out, but it had been totally destroyed. I mean, I melted equipment, black, and walls were down, ceilings were down, still smoldering. But that was on a Saturday. On Sunday, I had the staff over at my house. I explained what happened and said, okay, we're going to make some arrangements. And literally by Wednesday of that week, so 3 days later, we were seeing patients at various offices in the area. Friends of mine who were dentists who, I don't work on Wednesday, my office is free. We basically started doing that. Sterilization area, again, a lot of patients, we're very proud of the office. We give patients tours because they do want to see it. For most patients, it's like the most high-tech office they've been to. Now in here, basically just most of our storage area. And you can see, thanks actually to Michelle, this is very streamlined compared to what we had in the old office before the fire. I'd been with Benco, again, I started in 1990, and probably around 2004 or 5, like anything else, sometimes you like testing the waters to see. And then one of the other local companies, actually one of the large national companies, approached me, and there were some price breaks and things like that. And I thought, okay, it was worth a try, and I went with them. And actually, I was with them at the time of the fire. And after the fire, when I started realizing, okay, I have to build an office from scratch, with this company, I told them, okay, this is the new office space, and let's see a design. And they gave me 3 or 4 designs working with it. And they were okay, but that was it. They were okay. They were just, in my opinion, just your standard, typical dental office. That's not what I wanted. And again, starting with a clean slate, I was able to design it the way I wanted. Chuck and Larry Cohen had contacted me, and again, I had not really had a relationship with Benco very much over the few years preceding that. And they knew about the office, and to their credit, right after the fire, even though I was not a strong client of theirs at that point, they offered their service in any way, shape, or form to help me. And I just kind of sat on it. But as we were starting to talk about the new office, they asked to sit down with me, and I told them that I was comfortable with the new company. And they asked me what I thought about the plans that were drawn. I'm like, well, they were okay. And they said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you give us a crack at least the layout of the new office? And I was a little uncomfortable. I was like, you don't really have to do that. And and they said, no, we're very comfortable in our design team, and we'd like to at least give it a shot. If you like it, fantastic. Doesn't mean you have to use this for any of your equipment or supplies, but at least let us see if we can help you out a little bit. So I said yes. I mean, I had nothing to lose at that point. And I think 2 weeks later, I got a blueprint and a sketch from them, which, I guess the best way to describe it was a home run. I looked at it, and it's like, okay, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And they got it right out of the starting block with really not much input from me. And once I saw that plan, then it was like, okay, well, now do you want to look at ADEC? And again, I was a little hesitant. I was like, no, I had this other equipment lined up. But it was explained to me that this other company could not get ADEC equipment, which is one of the reasons why I never saw it before. And I thought at that point, well, I owe it to Larry and Chuck to at least investigate it, and went to Portland, ended up with ADEC equipment, and then Benco has handled everything, everything since. When I built the office previously, it was a long time ago, I was just kind of starting out, working with different contractor, but it seemed to me when we built this office that the Benco people, and it was the equipment manager for Benco, Michelle, I mean, they had a much more integral part, I think, working with the construction team that was building the office. I was kind of in the impression, okay, yeah, they template the floor, and that's it. See you later when the equipment goes in, 2 weeks before you open. But literally every step of the way, they were there. I mean, they were meeting with the construction people, and they had a much more integral role than I really anticipated. And it made it a lot easier for me because, I mean, literally I was, working in a temporary office. I couldn't be on site during the day. We had to keep the practice going. But I'd find out that Michelle was here, or Ted was here, or Steve was here, or, from Benco. They were all basically working with the construction people, handling little things that I really would have had to deal with, but they were able to kind of negate me being bothered with it. And I think that was a huge help. All ADEC equipment, ADEC chairs, ADEC cabinetry, 12 o'clock rear delivery system, which from I understand now is what most people are going to, although I did it 20-something years ago when no one else was doing it. It's been that way ever since. Mm-hmm. So basically, really what we have 8 ops. Most of them are connected, like they're in pairs because of the walkthrough. So we've got the 8 ops. They're all interchangeable. They can be used for either hygiene or restorative. The way it's set up, most of the 6 on this side are pretty much both. The 2 on this side are really predominantly for hygiene. One of the reasons that I've actually become probably a big fan of Benco is that personal touch, because I know if I have a problem, and honestly I have not had any since we built the office, but I know in no uncertain terms if I have a problem I can get on the phone. I have his cell phone, his home phone, his email. I could say, Larry, I've got this issue, we need to have addressed. I know it'll be dealt with within hours. And I have a friend who's building a new office and went with another company, not Benco, and I said, do you know who the owner is? And he said, well, no. I said, do you know who the branch manager is? He said, no. I'm like, well, to me, that means a lot, and that's actually, it's one of the reasons I've switched to Benco and I've stayed with Benco, and I really can't foresee changing anytime in the future.